Hey y'all, JJ here, getting ready for Dallas, Texas and Sub 2 Squad Up Summit. Our guest speaker today is an absolutely amazing young man. He's extremely highly respected member of Pace Morby Sub 2 community. Can't say enough about this guy. He is a family man. He is just leads with a genuine heart, good character, one of the nicest, smartest guys I know. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today, my good friend, Mr. Joshua Sun. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful, JJ. It's a blessing and honor to be here on your podcast because of who you are, the number one networker in the country, according to Pace Morby. You, again, just give so much value. You teach people to do deals the right way, which is to form the relationship first, and then the business will come. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I appreciate you, JJ, and just all the value you give to everybody for free, which is crazy.
Well, I appreciate the recognition. Believe it or not, it doesn't come too often. When it does, I'm extremely appreciative. But thank you for the acknowledgement. Um, we're honored to have you today. You are highly visible in the community, well known for your knowledge and your success as a real estate investor. And we know what we always want to do is be around successful people because ideally their success and their knowledge will wear off on us. And, as the old saying goes, we become the sum of the five or six people we engage with the most.
Mhm.
Really quick, for those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
Los Angeles.
I love that, brother. You are going to be a guest at my house when it's finished. I think it's like the 10-year project right now, but
Would be honored.
we should be done before the end of the year. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited to see you in Dallas for Squad Up Summit.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
Hey, so we met through Sub 2. That's how we know one another. Um, how did you get started? Was real estate something around in your teens and was mom an agent? Was dad a contractor?
Not at
Uh,
all. Yeah, I graduated in '01 as a failed pre-med out of Duke, and supposedly a good school, right? But
yeah.
then I was so lost. That was the dot-com bubble, and I just fell into mortgages and did that for the last 20 years. And a year ago, through one of my social media masterminds in Arizona, I met Pace Morby. And then I jumped into Sub 2, then Gator in March, then went to Squad Up and joined Owners Club. And from there, um, I haven't had much success compared to a lot of people like yourself and a lot of people in the community. But everything I say is all by God's grace and all through social media. So that's something I'm happy to share about today. But just kind of fell into the role of a capital raiser. And, here I am full time doing it. So I'm super blessed.
There you go. And your topic today is capital raising via social media and personal branding. And
Yes.
those are two topics that are near and dear to my heart. Um, you know, let me ask you, I know when I started in Sub 2, they didn't have the avatars yet. They came later. And way it was broken down was acquisitions manager, dispo manager, integrator, and transaction coordinator, of course, the visionary. And in the beginning, we all wear all the hats till we kind of figure out where our own role is going to be. Did you have that same kind of indoctrination? Were you wearing all the hats in the beginning, or did you immediately know where you wanted to go? How was that path for you?
Yeah, so I joined Sub 2 thinking I was gonna door knock foreclosures maybe or call because as a loan officer, that's what I do. I call people, make them feel comfortable. Didn't really get any traction, but then in June I ended up with Jason Park actually, who you know as well. I was able to raise capital for one of his deals. I invested part of it myself, and then the next week he had another deal. I was able to raise capital for that one. 300K was from social media, 100K from a mortgage client. So it was just kind of by accident, like, hey, this is something that is I'm able to do, and then I just kind of continue down that route.
Good for you, brother. Good for you. So let me just hand you the baton for a second. On your topic today, where would you like to start as you explain for us this really important topic of capital raising?
Yeah, I just want to share. This past weekend, I'm from San Diego. I went to San Diego to see my family, and my dad told me and my brothers, like, hey guys, before I used to say debt was bad. Now debt is actually good because you can leverage debt and you can get cash flow. Keep in mind, my dad is like a 70-year-old Chinese man. So we're like, Dad, where does this coming from? And then my brother Lucky, who's like my half brother, he said, "Dude, that's been on TikTok 3 hours a day, learning all this stuff." And that just blew my mind. And then my brother, my sister-in-law, my brother's house we were staying in, she's like, "Oh, my mom, she's Korean, like 70 years old as well, is on YouTube all day. She won't leave the house." And she's like, "I'm learning from this doctor." So that just showed me, JJ, and the reason I'm sharing this is even our parents' generation,
Yeah.
Asian, like 70-year-old, like men and women are on social media. So before, as you know, we talked about, like I was all in on content, but I feel like for now, I want to say that even more strongly, like you have to be on social, you have to do content for your real estate investing.
Yeah.
And then second thing is I'm actually here today because my brother, he's like a golfer. He hangs out with super high net worth people from China. He was like hanging out in Newport Beach over here in a $12 million mansion that is like his uncle's. And he invited me to come and hang out. And we did a lunch and all this stuff. And I rescheduled everything because I'm able to, because I'm a capital raiser. I'm doing this full time. But except I did not want to reschedule your podcast, of course. That's why I'm doing it in the car. But I share that because as a capital raiser, as someone who's transitioned full time out of the mortgage into this in July, the time freedom is just amazing, to be able to do things like that. Because whereas before I would have been, hey, sorry, I couldn't do it. So those are the two things I would say, as far as capital raising, the freedom, the time freedom you get, and then also just the power of social media that, is, I think, critical right now.
So let me ask you, if someone uh feels they know people, they feel that they might, we all have different circles of friends, we all have different family, work, history, things of this nature. We all have different circles that we move through. If someone thinks that they might want to get into capital raising, how do they go about that? What do they look for? What do they lead with? Do they need to study something? How does one become a capital raiser?
Yeah, great question. And before I answer that, I just want to also mention that, capital raiser is like a way you can make money and thrive in the real estate investing game that most people don't even know about because they usually think about fix and flips or wholesaling, right? And then Pace actually said, if like, he can only pick one skill out of all the different skills, like you said, all the different avatars, kind of like Hunger Games, right? In the middle, you run to the circle, grab a weapon. He said he would actually grab capital raising because if you can raise capital, people will bring you the deals. And you could work yourself into the deals just by bringing the capital. But and then to answer your question, I would say join the Gator community because Pace has really good training on that, like the legalities and how to do it and all the different, there's so many different ways to make money as a capital raiser or connector. And then also the Gator community has 11,800 people, private money lenders. So for
Wow.
me, I'm, raising money for our deal, which helps save for people's homes from foreclosure while making investors 60% returns or 5% a month with a super secure structure. That's the group that I've been doing a lot of deals with because those people are like the lowest hanging fruit.
So Joshua, if we're going to be raising money, obviously there are education we need to get to some extent to know what we're talking about, but we're also building relationships at the same time. I mean, obviously, just by raising capital, we're dealing with people that have the capital. So we have to not just talk to them with them, but also build rapport to some extent, right? We need to
Yeah.
resonate with people. And how important have you found that to be?
Yeah. I mean, relationships, everything, right? We, buy from people or invest with people we know, like, and trust. And trust is built through relationship. And I actually have a capital raising blueprint that I'm happy to share with everybody here. That's what I used to help me raise $9 to $10 million in the last 9 months. And
Wow.
if you guys want that, just go to my Instagram, which is at JoshuaSun26. And in my link tree, then just click on that and click that, and we'll send that to you. But to answer that question, one of the books that's really helped me is by Daniel Priestley. It's called Oversubscribed. And it talks about the just sales psychology of how to get people to buy and how the best brands in the world do it, like Apple, like Chanel. And one of the things that I've learned through kind of my trial and error with raising capital is Google did a study called Zero Moments of Truth. And they found that on average, when people make an important buying decision or investing decision, they take about 7 hours to think about it and process it and engage with different forms of content, whether an email, a phone call, a video. And then after something magical happens after the 7 hours is that people get sick of thinking about it and then they are ready to decide. But the problem is if you ask them before they're ready, even if they're 90% ready, you give them a binary yes or no decision, they're still going to say no. And that's kind of the mistake that I made. I just said, hey, are you interested? Send you all this information and check in with them a couple of days, and they weren't ready, and that was too soon. But then the way I raise capital now, which is it's in my blueprint, is I try to create one story, because when Ken McElroy came to Owners Club to speak, Pace asked him, what's the number one advice for capital raising? And Ken's response was, if you can't tell the story, you're not ready to raise capital. So it's all about telling that story from as many different facets as possible. So for me, like when I was raising capital for this affordable housing company, so we would invite investors to lunch and take them to the projects and look at them. And I would create videos. And then also, here's a big thing I've learned is have a FAQ sheet on a Google Doc. So as you
What
start
for those who
raising
don't know, what's FAQ?
frequently asked questions.
Okay, there you go.
So like, let's say you have a project you're trying to raise capital for, whether it's your own or somebody else's. And I think everybody needs capital, right? If you're a wholesaler, if you're doing your own deals, or if you're trying to connect, at some point you're going to run out of money as you scale. So when somebody asks a question, put it on a Google Doc, put in the answer, and then share that with all the investors, like your new potential investors. So when you come talk to somebody new, first of all, you don't have to answer the same question twice. Second of all, you give them time, give them the sheet to read over, so they appreciate just knowing questions and concerns that they didn't even think about. But then as they read through that, that's going to rack up the 7 hours. And then make, a bunch of videos from like, hey, who's the operator? Why is the operating doing this project, right? And then interview some, testimonies, some investors that successfully closed with them, or somebody they've helped. Like, for example, with our foreclosure deals, we interview homeowners that we've helped, and then we will share that, or the principals in the project. Basically just documenting every single the process as much detail as possible, and just giving them a ton of content to go through to rack up the 7 hours.
Calvert Ackland, you are on with Joshua's son. What's your question, my friend?
What's up, my friend? It's been a while. So, Joshua, what were the limiting mindset issues that you had to overcome in order for you to get to where you are now? And how did you do that?
Great question. So when I first joined Sub2 in March and April, it just took a long time to, I couldn't even really do a Sub2 deal or a foreclosure deal. And I mean, it's all by God's grace, just through prayer. So, but I think through just connecting with people in the community. So the first deal I did was with Jason Park, who's in the Gator community. And then through posting on social media, one of my ex-coworkers from mortgage, like I hadn't talked to for literally 7 years, except like once in a while on a DM, he introduced me to the affordable housing developer, and then I started raising capital for them for a period. Then with my current project, the stuff we're doing with the foreclosures, I met Josh Dismond, who's a Sub2 member in Vegas, and he's a tax professional, and he connected me with Ty Kirkpatrick in Oregon. And we actually bought an Airbnb together last year. Sub2, we got a great rate of 2.25%, took over a VA loan. And then, I started talking with Ty in around Thanksgiving, and he's been doing these foreclosure deals for 20 years. So again, it's all by God's grace. I'm just super thankful to be able to have these really good deals to raise for. But then it's through, either social media or just connecting with people in the community, which is to JJ's point, it's all about relationships and connections.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Don't ask how, ask Howdigy. Rob Howdigy, you're on with Joshua's son. What's going on?
Hey, Joshua, how you doing, man?
Rob, my friend, good to see you, brother.
Yeah, same here, same here. I love seeing what you're doing on social media, by the way. I mean, I told you from the day I really got to know you, man. I even asked you one time, how are you coming up with the music? And you're like, man, that just came automatically. And but no, everything you're doing, I just love it. I have a ton of questions for you, but I'll just cut to the chase. I'm gonna be there at Squad Up. How can I wedge myself into your world? Because
Yeah.
I believe capital raising is a lane for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's more people than we can help, unfortunately, who are in foreclosure, who are losing their houses every day. On my page, there's a testimony of a really awesome lady you can check out, like just to get a idea of like the real impact we're making. So if you or anybody who has capital to invest and for a good cause and really good returns, again, 60%, very minimal risk, short term, 1 to 2 months, would love to connect with them or you. But here, for anyone who's going to Squad Up, or even if you're not in Squad Up, you can participate. I created a list I'll put it in the chat. It's joshuasoncapital.com/squad up. So last year when I went to Squad Up, it was like speed dating style networking, really intense. I don't know if whoever was there, you guys can share your experience. But the challenge was afterwards, I couldn't remember anybody. I tried to take notes on my notepad, but it was still hard. So this year I created one form where everybody can put in their info, like if they're a wholesaler, capital raiser, sub two, whatever, whoever category, and then what they need, like what are they looking for? They're looking for deals, they're looking for capital, partnerships, and then what they have, what can they offer? And then you put that information into the form once, it'll be shared with everybody else who submits their information. So that way you can, I'll put the link in the chat if you guys want to basically connect with more people. That's my hope, just make things more efficient and help more people connect to do deals together.
That sounds great. And I'd like to talk to you about
awesome.
how you do that too. One of the rising young rock stars in Sub 2, one of our future guest speakers, if I have my way. Jay Mora, you're on with Joshua's son. What's your question?
Hey, brother, how are you?
I'm doing good, Jay. How are you doing?
Living the dream, brother. The first thing I noticed when I
Yes.
looked at your page is the I am that I am in Hebrew. I study biblical Hebrew like every single morning. I wake up every morning at 2:45 and I that's what I do. I study, I go down deep dive, and I love the way that you incorporate your faith. Now,
Praise God.
my question goes down that way, right? Most entrepreneurs, their issue is, I don't know if I should incorporate my faith with business. Business and faith shouldn't be in the same sentence. How are you? It sounds like you're doing that in your business. Like, what words of encouragement do you have people that are faith-based that are trying to not be scared and just be out there and just go for it, and and just not have a filter or limitations like that? What do you have for recommendation?
I think, first of all, an honor to meet a brother in Christ. And, I love that you wake up at 2:45. I used to wake up at 3, so I know that's not easy, but I commend you for that. For me, I think it all just comes to my faith in God, that God will take care of the business if we're faithful to Him. And we all exist here to glorify Him, help more people know Him. And that's my ultimate purpose. And then the way I approach it is, as long as we're doing it in a respectful manner, I just think of it as being authentic. Because Christ is central to everything I am and everything I do. If somebody watches my content and they can't tell that, I feel like that would be being inauthentic to myself. And if you just take that approach, again, do it very respectfully, do it. I share mainly like faith-based content on a Sunday, that on my content schedule. But I feel like people can't really criticize you because you're like, hey, I'm just being authentic to who I am. It's like you can't tell me that. I'm not trying to, push it upon you, but you can't tell me that, like to let them be who they are, but they don't let you be who you are, if that makes sense.
I love that. Thank you, brother. And I hope you accept my friend request. I'm about to shoot over to you.
Oh man, on Facebook I have like 5,000 people from before. I need to delete a bunch of people, but I will definitely accept all of you guys. Yeah.
And Jay, make sure you add that Facebook message so he sees the message.
Yep.
But then
absolutely.
I'm actually more on Instagram, brother. So if you
Okay.
follow me and DM me on Instagram, I'll follow you back. And I'm on IG more than Facebook.
Sounds good. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Good to see you, Jay. Thanks for joining us. Levi Garrett, you are on with Joshua's son. I know your camera's not there, but would you like to ask a question, Levi?
Yes, I would. First, I'd like to thank you for your time, Joshua, for sharing your info and everything. Second, very briefly, I spent time overseas in China and Taiwan for over a decade. And when I came back, I started to do some of this with my other work. But my question is this. So when I speak to Chinese agents and such, those that have received lots of info on or approaches on creative and stuff, like they know about it as an approach. But there seems to be a bit of doubt and I guess suspicion or defense against the approach. So I'm asking you, you being Chinese, how you think we should approach Chinese homeowners and Chinese agents and such. And that would be very helpful for when I speak to them in Chinese. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. And so my brother, he's joining Sub 2 and he's more on the deal, trying to get the deals and stuff. He's in San Diego. So he's been trying to put together like a FAQ of like the legalities, what happens with Sub 2 is illegal, all that stuff. And when I was in San Diego this weekend, actually, we started talking about it. I was like, you know what? Because I asked ChatGPT everything. And I was like, why don't you just ask ChatGPT to create a FAQ of all the, most common concerns and everything in for sub two. And it came up with all the stuff that he even think about. And then like I drink hydrogen water. There's my bottle here. It's like taking
Nice.
away my back inflammation and give me more energy. Um, so like I got these bottles from my dad and my mom, and their English is, like they're not great. So so normally I would try to explain to them what hydrogen water is, but instead I said to ChatGPT with the voice command, explain to my parents what ChatGPT is in Cantonese and then in Mandarin, and then it just so the reason I share that is you can actually just ask ChatGPT, whatever concerns they have. If usually it's around the legalities, like, hey, give me the most common, FAQs for the legalities of sub two, but in Chinese, and then you could just show it to them.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Last thing,
Wow.
very quick. Do I call you Sun Wukong or Cai Shen?
Sun Wukong is the monkey. You can call me
Yeah,
anything
but
you want. Yeah, yeah. My last
awesome.
name is Sun, so yep.
新年快乐，新年快乐. Thank you very much.
新年快乐, brother. I appreciate you.
There you go. Awesome. I think that's awesome. Getting little of other people that also speak Chinese, which is great. And I think the GPT thing is awesome. Majeda Harvey, you are on with Joshua's son. What is your question, my dear?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Well, JJ, thank you. I appreciate all this networking thing that you do. It's great. And my question for Joshua is, first of all, I want to thank you for, coming to speak. I was wanting to know, how do you establish your credibility with high network family office and those type of investors?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I have not raised successfully from them. In sub two, though, Pace has an excellent training on raising capital with family offices. So if you're in sub two, watch that one. He gives you the script to call them. He had his fractional family office person Ryan Cox from Do Wealth share, and his script is like, just call family offices. He gives you the list too. Or I don't know if he does it Owners Club. I don't know if he gives it, but it's not hard to find. But you can just call them and say, to get through the gatekeeper, because there's usually a gatekeeper, right? Is just, hey, I come across a lot of deals, but I want to make sure I give you guys the deals that fits your box. Can you tell me what the last 10 deals you guys funded are? And of course, that's a question the gatekeeper probably can't answer. Then hopefully that will allow them to transfer you to somebody like the director of investment or whatever. And Ryan said that like they're always looking for good deals, right? And they're not looking for one deal for specifically, like Ryan, he handles Paces, but he actually handles 25 other people, high net worth people. He's actually, if they find a good deal that fits their box, then they will actually share with other people within their family office. So, you can potentially get 5, 10, 25 million. And the number one thing they look for is tax advantage. Number two is minimum risk, because they're trying to not lose their money. They're not looking for the super high returns. Ryan said that they're looking for returns between 10 to 15%. That's it. So we don't have to give them deals that are like, 20% IRR or stuff like that. The other thing I would say is there's certain networking events that are for that type, like family offices. One is called Jetson Capital. So I don't know if you've heard of them. Look at Jetson Capital on IG at Jetson Capital. I went to their event in Vegas like a month ago. They had it at a cool jet hangar with 3 private jets, supercars, and then they invite 85% allocators or investors. Most of these family offices, high net worth people, and then 15% capital raisers. And then next in May, they're actually doing an event in Florida. It's a 2-day event. They're doing a charity brunch at Trump's Doral in Miami. Jetson Capital, the same thing at a jet hangar at night, and then F1 racing event the next day, and then a private VIP yacht party at that night. So if you go to that, I went to that. I got connected with this group called ACAP, ACCAP, super high net worth people. They added me to their group chat. So if you are interested, DM me on social media. I'm on IG at Joshua Sun 26. I'll see if I can add you to that group, because there's tons of people sharing value. I mean, you can't go pitch deals on there, but through there you can DM people and build networks, build relationships. So I've started to do that. Yeah, those are my 2 cents for someone who honestly has not raised capital from family offices, but hope that helps.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you so much for Jada. Thank you for joining us. Mac Love himself, Mac Loving, you're on with Joshua's son.
Good to see you. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good, man. I love your name, brother. Mac 11.
Thank you. I just got a quick question. You know, you doing a lot of good, and I wanted to know, like, what was that moment that made you to make that decision to move forward? Because for a lot of people, they're interested in doing it, taking that leap and saying, hey, I want to be a capital raiser or just getting to real estate altogether. But you and I both know it's that moment where you got to make that decision to do it. So what was that moment that made you say, I'm gonna take that jump? And also, what's the difference between you now and the Joshua you was before?
Oh man, those are some great questions. For me, I think part of it is just, I was in the mortgage business, which I never really loved. I mean, I enjoyed doing it. I was still helping people. But, we had a couple good years in COVID, but then after that, the market's been tougher. And when ChatGPT came out, I knew kind of the writing was on the wall. I feel like they're either going to replace us or cut our margins. So with 6 and 2-year-old daughters, I knew I had to get out of it before or find a different stream. And then my wife and I talked about this. I always want to do real estate investing, but all my idea was only like flipping, but I can't even fix the most simple thing. So I'm like, and I didn't know where to start. So then when Pace, by God's grace, I got introduced to Pace and jumped in sub two. I just saw so many people succeeding, and I'm like, okay, you know what? If I work hard, I feel like I can do it, and by God's grace, right? So I just, went like me. I'm super obsessive. Maybe that's like probably good and bad things. So like one year I did 32 leagues in fantasy football, just to give you an idea, right? That's not a good idea. But I just went into it and yeah, just kind of committed to it. And then by God's grace, just got connected with some good people that gave me some good opportunities to race for. As far as the person, I'm big into self-development and coaching and masterminds. That's why I commend all of you guys here learning from someone like JJ. I joined Gator Sub 2 Owners Club. I'm in 9, 10 different other programs like Dan Martell's program, Dan Sullivan's strategic coach, Rory Vaden's brand builder, 4 to 5 social media masterminds with Neil Dingra, Omar Takwari, El Takwari, Daniel Priestley's Dent Global program. So, Jim Quick went going through all his programs. So I just think that, investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. Warren Buffett says you get a 7x ROI. And if you're trying to get from A to B, you can do it without, a coach or a mentor, but you're probably going to pay one way or another, either your time, mistakes. But if somebody who's there can guide you, you can probably get there twice or 10 times as fast and save a lot. So if you're able to, I know not everybody can, and that's part of the value I want to share through my content is like, hey, I paid all of this, so you guys don't have to, and I'll try to share the best stuff with you guys. Which, by the way, on my Instagram link tree, there's a button that has like all the best social media resources that I've compiled from being on all the different programs, and I'm also going to do Payson I've been talking about. He wants me to do a class for capital raising, so I'm going to do that. If you guys just go on my link tree, get the capital raising blueprint. I'll keep you guys posted on that. So yeah, that's the value I want to hopefully share with you guys.
Wonderful. I appreciate you being so open and giving back. Thank you. I'll reach out. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mac.
Thanks for joining us, Mac. We have a couple of questions, but before we move on, I want to go to your Instagram and share a couple of things with folks. Here's your Instagram. And he's Joshua Sun 26, guys. Feel free to follow him, message him. But here's his link tree right here. And as you click this link, it's going to take you to this page. And then the very top one is get my capital raising blueprint, how he raised $9 million in 9 months. It's got a couple other things, but most definitely, guys, you want to follow Joshua. And please, if you're on this call right now, please message him on Instagram. Definitely Instagram. Please message him, and you see his content, a number of things he's doing. I love what your page looks like, brother. I love what you're putting out here, and it's just a perfect example of what we need to aspire to follow, as far as the lead that you're leading by example. So that is his Instagram, and that is the link to get to his link tree.
Thank you, JJ. Appreciate that. Coming from you, that means a lot because I learn a lot from you with social media.
Well, and again, we all are going to get better and stronger by helping one another. And as I always say, guys, build a relationship first. Don't ask for anything. I've gotten to know Joshua. We've seen one another a couple of events. We're going to hang out at Squad Up in Dallas. Hopefully, I can get him to go to the Country Western Club with me one night. But the better we get, the more comfortable. Better we get to know one another, the more comfortable we get, and then that makes it easier to transition into business. But talking about business before you get to know people, guys, it's just not the right path. You want to build a relationship first. You're on with Joshua's son. What's your question?
Actually, I had I'm not sure if it's 2 or 3, but I'm gonna just get started.
Yeah.
One of our friends lives in an area where some investors bought her property, and I went online to see about taking it over or doing something with it, and I wanted to find out, have you guys ever got into a situation where you had that type of like a personal connection or something to certain property you were looking at?
I'll defer that to JJ. I don't deal directly with the properties or acquisitions.
Now, let me ask you, Maya, so you have, let me understand that a little bit better.
Yeah.
Could you repeat that one more time, please? See if I can't follow along.
Well, when I was first looking into getting into buying properties,
Okay.
I mentioned it to one of our friends. She said, well, I was hoping, maybe someone would buy my property because the people who manage it don't have any idea of how to manage it. They don't really care about the people living there, things
Okay.
like that. And when I looked at it, it's like a couple $1 million, a few $1 million. And I was wondering if you ever ran into a situation where you were either raising capital or getting a property where it had that personal connection, and how'd you deal with like separating it from business versus that friend or loved one type situation you had there?
Well, I think there's two different sides to this coin. I was talking to my real estate attorney the other night. We were at the Laker game, as a matter of fact. And on the way to the stadium, he says he never does business with family or friends. No, that's that aspect. But when it comes to networking, you want to, we'll talk about Facebook for a second. That's a predominant social media platform. You want to have your family and friends be aware of what you're doing. You're going to post things on your personal page so that they know what you're doing, because your family and friends are going to be your biggest source of referral and recommendation. Nobody knows you better. Nobody loves you better. No one's going to promote you more genuine care because they know you. As far as helping out a family member or a friend, if we can do that, it's definitely something that we want to do. But we also need to realize that we need to make sure that everything lines itself up properly. For example, whatever potential deal is going to be engaged in needs to be underwritten properly. You need to underwrite that. You need to analyze the deal, make sure all the numbers come out properly. It sounds that if they want to sell the property because they have a poor management company, it seems to me that why wouldn't they just change the management company? But if they indeed want to sell that and you're part of the Sub2 community, you should be able to make that investment opportunity available if that's something that they truly want to do, sell that. There are a number of ways, obviously, with Pace says a whole tool belt of options. There are a number of ways properties can be acquired. It's just a matter of really getting to understand what they truly want to do, what their real pain is. Is it they don't want to own it anymore, they don't want to deal with it anymore, or they don't like the property management company, and there's never a clear cut cookie cutter type of answer. But yeah, you can help people personally. You can definitely.
Okay.
I've got a friend of mine that unfortunately just lost his home, and I told him 2 years ago when I knew he was struggling with the scenario, let me help you. Let me know what's going on. And the guy didn't let me know what was going on, and he lost his home. So there's nothing wrong with us helping family, nothing wrong with us helping friends. I think the big key is, now that you're in Sub2, is to build relationships within the community with people that have the knowledge in different fields of expertise that can assist you when it comes time to trying to lead with value. Thereby, then what happens is you're now connecting people to other people. That's what I do. Connect people to other people. So part of this is building your network so that when you want to help them, you have options. I would be an option for you to help you grow your network, help you grow your visibility.
Right.
The real value of any community, every one of them. There's over 50 people, 50 different groups in my networking group. The coaching calls are good, the YouTube is good, the Zoom calls are good, the curriculum is good, the live meetups are good, but the true value of any educational community are the relationships we take away from with the rock stars in particular that exist in these communities. I'm not opposed to having relationships with brand new investors, and actually I'm all for that because I want to help the new investor. But what I also want to do is, I call it squeezing the juice from the orange. How do we build relationships with the rock stars? Because it's those relationships that are going to indeed allow us to build our business, grow our business, as well as provide us with the assistance to help our family and friends that may need assistance. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, you can help family and friends.
Okay. The second question wasn't really a question for the group. It was more to ask Josh about the hydrogen water. I have swelling in my spine, so it was like a big red stop button on the hydrogen water. So I just wanted to know a little more. But if you want to talk to me later about it, that's fine too.
Yeah, I just put the link in the group chat. And hydrogen water, this one, they have the higher concentration, more than double the concentration of other brands out there. So I know people who've tried it, maybe didn't work. But this one's taken all the inflammation from my back. I have chronic back problems. Also did that for somebody else I know. My brother who does jujitsu, he's been drinking. He's like 80% of his back, soreness and stuff is better. So again, not making any health claims. Everybody's a little different, but I would, just highly recommend trying this one.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I just took that link out of the chat and texted it to you. So you have that right now on your phone. Thank you so much for joining us today, Maya. I look forward to getting to know you better so we could
Thank you.
help you get up and running.
All right.
Mr. Dustin Connor, you are on with the Joshua Stun himself.
Thank you, JJ. Appreciate it. How you doing, Joshua?
Doing well, sir. How are you doing?
Doing well myself. The whole financing and capital raising really caught my attention because I've had a lot of questions around that to the point where I've studied it, but I've still so much of it's a gray area, and I'm having a hard time getting an answer. And you have your brokerage license, is that correct?
No, I have a mortgage loan officer license. Yeah.
MLO? Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line? How do you draw the line to make sure that you're not crossing over into territory that could get you in trouble?
Yeah, again, that's why I said there's like a lot of SEC compliance legalities. I would say disclaimer is talk to SEC attorney first and foremost. The other thing that I've been taught is look up Howey test, HOWEY. So if an investment, there's like 4 questions. If it, is considered a security under the Howey test, then if you're trying to connect capital, you do need I think it was a Series 6 or some kind of license for that. If you don't, there are certain ways around it. Like again, confirm with the SEC attorney, but you can do like JV participation, and there's different ways around it. So with my foreclosure deals, it's actually our company that I'm raising company for my raising capital for my company directly with investors. So it's a little bit different. So I'm not connecting people per se. But yeah, there are definitely, I think it's, good that you're thinking about these things because there are definitely SEC regulations as far as raising capital, connecting deals.
Gotcha. Is there anything or any areas that you would say are a pretty safe bet that you're okay working within for someone who's just starting out and wants to look at the capital raising?
Again, I would join like Pace's Gator. Are you eating Gator at all?
I'm not. not Gator.
Okay.
No, I'm just.
I would say join Gator, because in Gator, or actually is a sub two. Maybe it's in sub two too. Pasted a capital raising series, and one of the calls he had one of his SEC attorneys go on the call and answer questions specifically about capital raising. I think that's in sub two actually. So I would say look up that and then find that one or email support and watch that, because he goes into that and that's coming directly from an attorney.
Well, I'll look into that more. Thanks for answering the question.
Yeah, my pleasure, Dustin.
Good to see you, Dustin. Thanks for joining us today. Wow. Gold nuggets flying out of the freaking camera here. I can't thank you enough, brother. We had a lot of great questions and a lot of phenomenal answers. I truly appreciate you for coming on today. Just a wealth of value. And guys, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're on the call right now, this is nothing we're going to cover in 45 minutes. You need to study this. You need to research things. Joshua mentioned some resources that are available. If you need to go back and watch it again, watch it again. We will go. Well, my next question is going to be, Josh, we dropped some serious gold nuggets here. If people want to reach out, people are watching on YouTube now, weeks and months down the line, and they want to reach out to you. I think I know the answer, but what is the best way for people to connect with you?
Yeah, first of all, I would say thank you again, JJ. It's a true honor to be on your podcast, because you're one of the most connected, respected people in our industry. You've been doing it for a long time, adding value. So you're an inspiration to me and many others. So yeah, it's first of all, I just want to thank you so much for that. Best way to connect is Instagram. My handle is at JoshuaSun26, as you showed earlier. DM me. We are looking for more people to help us with our mission, which is to help save homes from foreclosure. The first pinned reel is a lady we help. You can check that out. But then I would say, my capital raising blueprint is in there. My social media resources are in the link tree. I am going to do a capital raising class soon. So just put in, submit your information. I will keep everyone posted. And again, my last, exhortation is to you have to do social media, whether it's for your own deals or, raising capital for somebody else. And it's a lot of work. I'm not going to say, it's not, but like anything else, it's so worth it because it's a time multiplier. And that's the best way you can build trust at scale. And, in my experience, even I was never a social media person. Even to this day, I barely scroll. I just put out content. I started a year and a half ago. You see, I only have about 6,000 followers, but you don't need that many investors for your deals, right? I have probably about 50 to 100 investors, and, I'm building on that, but I've been doing, decent by God's grace. But then I would also say it's just really fun too, because you get to connect with people. Like I have a friend in Taiwan I just talked to yesterday. He's keeps up with my life because he sees my content. And it's all shift the mindset from people don't want to do social media, whether they're afraid or they're insecure. And that's because they're focusing on themselves. But when you completely just let that go and make it about serving people and the value you want to give, then it doesn't matter, right? Because you don't stop it because you're worried about my light or how I look or I'm not saying the right way. Your followers, I don't care if you have 10 followers, don't care about that. They care about the value. How are you going to change their lives? And we all here have value to share, whether it's stuff we're learning in, Sub 2 Gator, Astro, the deals you're doing, or just life experiences. If you've gone through some pain and struggle, which I believe most of us probably have, and you've healed from that, you can share that to inspire other people. So I think you guys, just want to encourage you guys all have a ton of value. Take that approach, go all in on social media and, check out the resources. And it's just something that I think everyone needs to invest in.
Yeah. Oh, so true. And so well put out there. I have one last question before we move into the breakout rooms and some live networking. I have a networking group. I don't talk about cold calling or short sales or raising private money or multifamily or commercial, anything else like that. I talk about networking, building relationships, how to be visible, how to build one's brand, how to market oneself. There's so many communities out there. Pace's community, Jamil's community, Sub 2 and Astro are two of the most visible ones on the landscape today. But there are probably close to 100, over 50 that I know of. There are investors coming every single day to a variety of education programs. You're in at least a half a dozen. And often these investors some are brand spanking new investors and some are very experienced. But they're often coming to real estate education programs now looking to become a member of a community and then joining that community's Facebook group for the purpose of building their business. These investors are now in a position to have an opportunity to use and leverage social media, particularly Facebook and Instagram, to build their visibility, build their network, and build their business. In your opinion, how important is it for the new investor to use and leverage social media, particularly Instagram, Facebook, to build a business? How important is it to be engaging with social media, building relationships?
Yeah, great question. I would say to answer that, it's understanding the difference between sales and marketing. Sales is the outreach mechanism, meaning you're prospecting, you're calling. A marketing is through content and putting out, social media, personal branding is an attraction mechanism. What I mean by that is whether you're looking for money for your own deals or somebody else, it's so hard to get an investor to invest in you if you're just calling and setting up appointments because there's not trust there. So you have to go through a lot of people and you're interrupting their day. But by doing content and using social media as an attraction mechanism, you're building that trust on a day-to-day basis. People are watching your content, people are getting value, and people see what you're doing, whether you're doing flips or raising capital. And once they're ready to invest, they'll raise their hand. So there's a guy named Danny from my old church community I haven't talked to in 7 years. He called me out of the blue one day, say, "Hey, I've been secretly stalking you." By the way, I've never seen him like or comment on any of my posts. I'm like, dude, what the. But he's like, "I'm ready to invest." And so again, even with a very small following, only been doing a year and a half, I got to that point where I'm just attracting people by doing content. So it just makes your job that much easier and allows you to scale infinitely, because if you're doing it without content and you have to build that trust by prospecting or calling or meeting in person, you're limited by your time and you can only have so many people, build that trust with so many people.
Well, that is, again, excellent answer to a question that impacts everybody, and great value for me that I'm going to be following up with you as well on. Sarah, you're on with Joshua's son. What's your question?
Fantastic. Thank you, JJ, and thank you for your time today and help, Joshua. I'm wondering, as a newer Gator, I'm a longtime property manager, and a lot of my social media is personal and, if anything, geared towards what my day job has been doing. Is it worth it to start everything fresh, or should I just kind of mend what I have right now and gear it towards that? I'm fresh in water right now, looking for a direction to take it.
Great question. So my background is mortgage, right? I've been doing it for 20 years, and most of my investors in the beginning were my mortgage clients and my realtor partners. It's because those are the people that I've built the relationship and that trust with. And so for me, if I were you, I would just continue and just let people know, hey, I'm getting into this. But then, it's still you, right? Like Grant Cardone is Grant Cardone. Gary Vee is Gary Vee. It's not what they do. You're the brand and you're the person. So I would say just continue to, build the trust and the visibility with your brand. And it's okay that you're adding to your property management experience to that. So property management can continue to be one of your values, which is huge because a lot of people like myself, I want to invest, but I don't want to deal with the management. So you can share that and share resources in that, but then you can now, whatever you're doing in Gator, you can just add on top of that.
And Sarah, I want to throw in on that. I get asked this frequently. You do not want to separate your personal page from a business page. You have a Facebook page, which is your family and friends, right? You want to post some things about real estate there, because no one knows you better, no one loves you better, no one's going to be a bigger source of referral recommendation. So you want them to see something, I think it's called like the 80-20 rule or the 90-10 rule. Like, 2 out of every 10 posts should be about real estate. 1 out of every 10 posts should be about real estate, but be yourself. You do not want to separate that, because if I go to somebody's Facebook page and all I see is real estate, I'm bored to tears. There are 15,000 people in sub 2, 11,000 in Gator, another 5,000 in top tier. You're talking, 15, 20, 25, 30,000 people. If all they have is real estate, I'm like, okay, what separates you from everybody else? People do business with people that are just like them. People do business with people those that they know, like, and trust, but predominantly know and like. They're going to like you because of commonality. So when you're adding investors to your friends list, they will be seeing your things that you post. that relate to your family, your occupation, your recreation, your dreams. The acronym FORD, F-O-R-D. And so when the real estate investors come across your page, whether it's in the news feed or whether they're going to your page, they're going to see the similarities and commonalities that you share with them. It's those things which are going to separate you from everybody else, which dictate that Sarah's just like me. I love Sarah. Sarah's just like me. People want to work with people just like them that have the same interests, the same commonalities. And so you do not want to separate your business world from your family world. You want to have one personal page. And you have I have 7 different LLCs, right? You may have 7 different fields of industry, 7 different businesses, yet all those businesses are you. You don't market your business, you market yourself. If you guys are watching on YouTube right now, please like Joshua's video. Please put in the comment section what your takeaways were, what you found most informative, what really stuck out to you. If there's anything that I can do to bring you better product or someone you may want to see as a guest speaker, please put your comments and your feedback in the comment section of Joshua's video. If you guys are watching right now on YouTube and you want to connect with Joshua, again, the best way to reach him is going to be through his Instagram page. And it's Joshua Son 26 at Instagram. Please follow him, and that will be the primary source to connect with him. Send him an Instagram message. If you want to connect with me, join my networking group. Please scan the turquoise QR code. Take you to my website. Hit the post setting register now button. If you want to see Joshua's video on the YouTube channel and all the other videos that we brought around from other guest speakers, please scan the purple QR code. That will take you to my YouTube channel where you can please subscribe to Flipside Up with JJ. On behalf of Joshua and myself, I want to say thank you all so much. If you're on the call right now, do not go away. We're gonna chat with Joshua a little bit more. Joshua, for everybody else out there in virtual world of Instagram and Facebook, we'll see them through social media, right?
Yes. Thank you again, JJ. God bless everybody. I appreciate you. Reach out if I can help you guys with anything.
There you go. This is the man, Rockstar. All right, guys. See y'all soon.